This is Angela with Parker's Permaculture. Weird how quickly the weather has changed. I am sunburned from a couple of days ago where it was roasting hot, and now today it's freezing and I'm wearing all the wool, all the layers of wool, because it's absolutely freezing and I don't want to have to make a fire. So I was not planning on making a video today. However, something has come in the mail early and I want to share it with you all because it's an important part of my garden planning for this year. The reason that I have to open it so quickly is that it's live plants and I need to get them watered. This is from Prairie Nursery, and I'm going to show you what's in it. But first I want to say the reason that I ordered these plants was because I have this front bed that I call my good neighbor bed that is up at the front by the street. It's a bed that's ever evolving. I want to make it look pretty for the public. I want to communicate that permaculture can be beautiful, and I want it to be a low maintenance, sustainable bed. Now, initially, early on, I had things like pumpkins and dahlias up there. And then I transitioned to some more kind of edible perennials. I had honeyberries up there and rhubarb. I have some big lilacs as well. I have a couple of plum trees and some bush cherries. I also have a lot of herbaceous perennials that are just flowering and beautiful. Unfortunately, what has happened over the last few years is that it's been getting quite a bit warmer, and we've been having hotter, drier summers. That bed gets intense afternoon sunshine. That is a full sun location. And not only that, it is the highest point in my yard, all the way front, all the way through backyard. That is the highest point. And so it has the most drainage and the least amount of water sitting there. So it's low water and very high sun. So it's kind of a low water site, especially in the summer, and it is high amounts of intense sunshine. So the plants that used to work up there, I found the last 2 summers got quite sunburned, and a number of things were really struggling. Nothing actively died, but a number of things just didn't look good as the summer went on. And I don't want to have to water that bed a lot. I don't want to be dependent on putting drip irrigation up there. And so I have this big project for the month of May where I'm going to be reworking that bed. Now, last year I threw a few things in there that I already knew could handle the sun and the lack of water. As I was just starting to think about, okay, what can I throw in here that over the next couple of years I can rework the bed around it? So one of the initial things I put in was Rudbeckia from my mother's garden. That is a unknown variety, but does super well. Doesn't need to be watered at all. Really brings in the pollinators. And, you know, I think of my mom when I'm out there and looking at those plants in bloom. Super low maintenance. I also put some Sanguisorba up there. That is a plant that I really love. There's not a Sanguisorba that I have found that I don't like. It's very feathery and ethereal. Also can handle kind of low water, full sun. And I'm swapping out some of the things that don't do as well. So I went to Prairie Nursery because they specialize in those kinds of pollinator attractor plants that can handle low water, high sun, that don't need additional watering in the summer in order to thrive. And I thought, I'm going to get some of these things. It's obviously quite a small box. I'm going to get some of these things because the infill, I'm willing to be patient. I'm willing to have a bed look not great in order to save quite a lot of money. Now, if you want to do this and you want kind of instant success in your bed with your planting, you want to get, 3 to 5 of each plant and have those larger gallon containers and really get the beds to fill in quickly. I'm starting with these little tiny pots so that I can save a heck of a lot of money. As it is, this was spendy for me. So let me open it up here and show you what I've got. Now, as I'm opening this, Prairie Nursery is one of several nurseries, but it's one that's really highly respected. I went on the hellscape of Reddit to read what people thought about low water landscape plants that are good for pollinators. And this nursery got lots of rave reviews. And so I ordered from them. I also have a number of local plant sellers that I purchased from. In fact, Ruth and I are going to have a video coming up soon from our visit to Zira Nursery. But these were plants that I couldn't find locally, and so I felt okay ordering them online. So let's see what's in here. I will definitely find a use for this packaging. Okay, so I did a little, this is only part of my order. So I may have to do a part 2 to this because this is just one small part of my order. that's okay. We'll start with that. So the first thing I got is Culver's root. You can see again, I'm starting really small. It will grow and form a clump that I can divide and eventually get a nice clump. So plants look better when you can plant them in a drift, when you don't have isolated specimens. There's more visual impact. And for me, I tend to start small, as I said, and then divide and spread it out so that it fills in and forms that nice drift. I don't like really rigid shapes. I don't like very even distribution. I want things to feel kind of natural and organic, and that these clumps of plants are kind of bleeding into each other. That's not a great analogy. That these clumps of plants are kind of shifting and drifting and melding into each other, a very fluid look to the planting. So that's what I'm hoping for here. Fingers crossed. So the second thing that I ordered is a plant that I don't know why people don't really sell this around here. I've had a terrible time getting it. So this is Schizocheirum scoparium, which is a mouthful, little blue stem. This is a wonderful, beautiful ornamental grass. I'm a big fan of it. I have always been, and maybe it's because I went to high school in the Midwest and it's a little bit more common there. A really beautiful landscaping grass. I am not anti-ornamental grass. I am anti-monoculture lawn. There are lots of useful ways to implement plantings of grasses in your permaculture landscape. Lots and lots and lots of birds and insects and all kinds of critters need and use grasses, and they are an important thing to consider, including especially if the area that you have is already conducive to that kind of meadow planting in general. Full sun, not much water in the summer. So these are a little bit root bound, not a problem. These are 2 of the 4 little blue stems I'm supposed to have in this order. So hopefully there will be another package coming soon, because that's all in there. When there is, I will update you with the rest of this video. Okay, y'all, 24 hours have gone by. And, you know, Prairie Nursery called me this morning to be like, hey, we just want to let you know that your order is coming in 2 separate boxes. And so you might have gotten one yesterday, but the other one is coming today. And I'm a little bit wound up because the mail just got delivered. And let me show you. Okay, this is my other box of my shipment. So the first box only had 3 plants in it. 2 little blue stem and 1 Culver's root. And I want to go over what's in this box with y'all. It should be 32 more plants. So I thought, like, when I opened the first box, I was like, this is really small for this many plants, but maybe I ordered bare root and I don't remember it. So this makes a lot more sense. This giant beast right here. Okay. Let's do it. Let's open it. Okie dokie. Let's see what's in here. Important notes about your plant shipment. So they're just letting you know that they arrive with trimmed foliage so that they will fit. They let you know that anything that's shipped in the fall will be dormant. So I think that's really nice of them to trim the plants before they pack them. I have had, let's say hi to me up here. I've had other nurseries that I've ordered from where there's been damage on the tops of the plants. Trimming it doesn't hurt anything and keeps it from breaking, right? They have some information on transplanting native perennials. Again, native to North America. Totally digging this packing, you guys. They're packed so tightly. It's really important when you're shipping plants that they're in there very snug so they can't jostle around and get damaged. Back a little bit here so you can see better. So all of that nice, all that nice tight packaging. Lift this out of the way. I will reuse this for something else. Oh, it smells so good and earthy, and all of these, okay, let me show you what's in here. See how it's packed? So I ordered, they have these packs where you can pick and choose, for each of several different varieties of plants at different price points. And so I got a number of these little plugs and I'm gonna use them. It was much cheaper this way. And I'm gonna use them to kind of jumpstart my garden. Like I said earlier, if you can afford 1-gallon pots, you really don't need to, but if you can afford 1-gallon pots, you will get the most impact in the first season. But really, all of these plants are kind of spread and fill in plants, and so I don't mind having gaps the first year. I got is purple prairie clover, and this is a perennial plant that Dahlia purpurea that gets 1 to 2 feet tall. And so it's going to be in the front of my bed. And this should spread and fill in. I'm going to put some of these out in my front bed and then some of them actually in my rain garden. This is the native Monarda fistulosa. I have a lot of bee balm. I did a video last year about bee balms in the garden. Big fan. They can be deceptively hard to grow here in Portland. I've seen a number of folks in garden groups say like, what is going on with my bee balm patch? They need good drainage and we have clay soil here. And so you really don't want them to be waterlogged. You want to make sure you have good drainage. This Monarda fistulosa is particularly good amongst the Monardas of handling some lack of water in the summer. So I want to get these in as well. And then this is one, I just kind of YOLO'd it a little bit, you guys. These look a little squashed right now, but they'll come back. This is dense blazing star. The scientific name for this is Liatris spicata. I'm a big fan of Liatris. There are cultivated ones that everybody uses in their garden around here. They're purple. I wanted to get some of the native ones. So this one is the dense blazing star, and I'm excited to see what it looks like. Again, it's going to be 3 to 6 feet tall, so toward the back of the bed. I got another Liatris as well. This is Liatris, I'm going to have to look it up, Liatris aspera. Aspera means rough. So this is the rough blazing star. Very different looking leaves, but you can tell they're both in the same genus. These are much longer and they feel rougher, I guess. And it is going to be shorter, like 2 to 3.5 feet tall. So this is going to go farther up in the bed. So right now I don't have any purple in that bed and I wanted to add that. When you are designing these kind of front border beds, I'm going to have some upcoming videos about design strategies. You can go for the kind of wildflower look where you have a whole bunch of mix of different colors. You can focus on 2 to 3 main colors that complement each other, or you can do a bed that's all one color. Classic kind of British way of doing a border is an all white border. I'm not interested in white flowers. I don't actually like them that much because they get really brown as they fade. But for me, I'm going for this kind of mix of pink and yellow and purple, because that's what a lot of native flowers come in. I don't like hot colors. I don't like red and orange. So I don't really have any of that in that bed up there. I also don't have anything like really blue. I've talked about this in the past. Delphiniums are really prone to slugs and they're short-lived perennials. So that's a really great blue flower that I don't have. Again, those purpley colors and those pinks and those yellows are going to be the kind of colors that I have up in that front bed. And I think it'll pair nicely with my lilacs, which are also those kind of light purples. So the last thing that I have in here is I got 2 different kinds of echinacea. I have cultivated varieties of echinacea in the backyard in my rain garden, and I have kind of pushed back against the like, you can only grow natives idea. I think it's appropriate, and my yard is a certified backyard wildlife habitat. It's important to have, in my opinion, at least 20% of your garden be planted with natives so that you have those kinds of food that those very specialist pollinators are able to visit and enjoy. Do my, cultivars of echinacea have lots of bee activity? Absolutely. Covered in native bees most of the summer, particularly, bumblebees really love them, but also lots of sweat bees. I haven't found them confused or having trouble with them, but I'm going to add some of those North American native echinaceas. So I have these straight species, regular coneflower, Echinacea purpurea. It's a little bit taller. They're 3 to 4 feet. So they're probably going to go just behind my Rudbeckia, which are about 2.5 feet. And then I also got the pale purple coneflower. This is Echinacea pallida, obviously pale pallida. This is 3 to 5 feet tall, and it has thinner petals and just a different look to it. So I think I'm going to put some of these up front. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put all of them up front. I might put some of them in my rain garden in the back as well. So that's a look at what I ordered in terms of North American natives from Prairie Nursery. There's some great big flat, and then the 3 plants I got before, the 2 grasses, little blue stem, and the other Culver's root. And then all of these together were pretty affordable, I think, for rehabbing an entire bed. I am hoping this bed will be more drought resistant. I'm hoping these plants will work well with the existing herbaceous perennials in that bed, those sanguisorbas and those rudbeckias that are already in there, as well as I have a few other things. We'll see what they are. I might not remember what all of them are. And there's some peonies in that bed that really kind of die back as it's getting too hot and dry. I'm hoping these will fill in and take over. And then as we move into fall, I'm hoping what's left are the Japanese anemones and the rudbeckia and the echinacea, which last a really long time. So I'm hoping that gives a consistent long duration of beautiful flowering plants that help me be a good neighbor, help communicate that, like, hey, permaculture can be beautiful. It can also be low water. It can also bring in the pollinators, and it can be something that is enjoyable, not only for myself, but for folks when they walk through the neighborhood. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to have a video coming up really soon. Ruth and I went to Zera Plants last week, and I'm going to talk some more about those kind of more unusual plants that are a mix of natives if you're on the West Coast, and just really smart xeriscaping design plants. If we can think about permaculture as being sustainable food production, I think that's a wonderful starting place. But we don't necessarily need to have every square inch of the garden planted only with food crops. I think that there is a lot of good in doing xeriscaping, in planting with natives, in planting flower borders. If you are doing permaculture, you can mix in those kind of more traditional design elements, and they can really benefit your system. Don't be dissuaded from doing permaculture because somebody says that you have to pack your whole garden with only edible and medicinal plants. That's not true at all. You can grow what you need to feed your family and surplus to share with your community, and still have room to do more traditional cottage style gardening, meadow gardening, xeriscaping as well. So thank you for watching today. Please check out down below the ways that you can support the work of this channel. I am just going to be absolutely giddy getting these planted, and I will be showing you what that looks like in the coming days. I think over the weekend it's supposed to be cool and rainy. Perfect time for me to transplant these out. So I hope to get an update on this really soon. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you in a few days. Bye-bye.